Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Birds vs. Boys Dallas Cowboys recap show. The Cowboys are coming off another huge win against the New York Giants, 49-17, taking care of business once again at home. Dak Prescott's about 47th straight win against the New York Giants, the Dallas Cowboys' 12th straight win at home. They continue to do what they do against bad teams, except for the Arizona Cardinals, and that is bludgeoning them. And welcome. I am Kmess. If it is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for stopping by the Birds vs. Boys YouTube channel. You can find anything you want here in terms of the NFL. I know the name is Birds vs. Boys, and of course, we cover the Dallas Cowboys. That's me. We cover the Philadelphia Eagles. That's Aiden. But we also cover everything in terms of the NFL, from draft to Super Bowl and everything in between. So tell your friends, tell your family, if you are an NFL fan, please subscribe to this show. Hit subscribe on YouTube. Follow us anywhere you listen to podcasts: Apple, Google, Spotify. That's where you will get full episodes every week. And make sure you are absolutely following us on social media: Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all at Birds vs. Boys Pod. But what I'm going to do right now is dive into this game. It just concluded. It is 8 p.m. here on the East Coast. Cowboys coming off the win. I am going to give you a 10-minute recap of this, and then you can catch more of me talking about this game and looking forward to the Carolina game with Aiden later this week. But like I said, the Cowboys win 49-17 after two victories against the New York Giants this season, 89-17 is the way this rivalry went this year. If you even want to call it a rivalry at this point, 40-0 week one, 49-17 with some garbage points coming late for both teams. Dak Prescott, again, phenomenal at home. 26 of 35, 404 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, and a QB rating of 138.3. I'm going to start with the interception because, well, that's what people like to talk about, even though it has not been an issue this season. It was an ugly interception to Flott, right? That was one of those tunnel vision interceptions that people have talked about with Dak. Seemed like he just didn't see him there. I don't know why. He was locked in. It was in the red zone, but the defense showed up. They did not convert that to points, so all is okay. Something that I hope they study in the film room this week. Dak sees it, corrects it, but that's the only blemish that I'm going to talk about today, because it's fun when your team scores this many points. It's even more fun when it's against one of your bitter rivals, when they are so down as down the Giants are. And this Dallas Cowboys team is just, it's different at home. And that is why I will keep harping. Losing the Arizona game was such a detriment to this season. Losing the Eagles game in Philadelphia the way you did, was it heartbreaking? Absolutely. Was it annoying? Yes. But Philly's a good team. Philly is the number one team in the NFC. Philly is on track to go to back-to-back Super Bowls right now. You're expected to lose at least one out of those two, especially on the road. But losing to an Arizona team, being their only win up to that point, that was the detriment, because you needed that win. You could be 7-2 right now. Instead, you're sitting at 6-3, which is an uphill battle now to get home field advantage in the playoffs, which, like I said, this team is so different at home than they are on the road. They're faster on that turf. They seem more confident in that building. So they need to keep stacking W's, especially on this light run that they have here now. Next, coming up, Carolina, and then really the season really starting over again on Thanksgiving with the Commanders, and Seattle, and then Philly again. But in this game, if you are back here for not your first time at Birds vs. Boys, thank you for coming back. But I talked about some things in this game that I wanted to see, and in the next couple of games leading into the next stretch of Seattle and Philly, that I wanted to see. And the number one thing was, I wanted to see more Brandin Cooks. He only had 29 targets through 9 weeks in this season. He did not have a 100-yard game. He only had 2 touchdowns. And the team brought him in for a reason. They traded for him because he's a guy that they've targeted for multiple years, that they've talked about. They almost got him at the trade deadline last year, didn't get done, but they actually got him for less this offseason. And he's a guy that's worked everywhere. Everywhere he's gone. He's worked with good quarterbacks, he's worked with bad quarterbacks, and it just didn't seem like it was getting going, right? There's been some bad luck. Some times where plays were schemed open for him and something bad happened. So there's been some bad luck, but I wanted to see the engine really start to cook. And 9 receptions, 173 yards and 1 touchdown, 19.2 yards per reception. That is the type of game that I want to see out of Brandin Cooks consistently. Now, are you going to get 173 yards out of him every week? No. But if you're getting 19.2 yards a catch, explosive plays to back the defense off, this is what you brought him here to do. And to be a compliment to CeeDee Lamb, who again has over 10 catches and over 150 yards for 3 straight games, the only player in NFL history to have such 3 games in a row. He had 11 catches for 151 yards and 1 touchdown. He will get you what you need to do every week. He's a baller, even out of the backfield. I tweeted, now it was jokingly during the game, but that CeeDee Lamb is your best running back because he also had a rushing touchdown in this game, popping it out of the backfield, which I loved to see the creativity. Because in the beginning of the game, what happened? They had the woes in the red zone again. And there were people on social media that are going to be like, see, they need Zeke. They can't punch it in. I don't think it's that they need Zeke. It's that in the red zone, especially at the goal line, they keep banging their head against the wall with Tony Pollard when you have other options. Rico Dowdle, Hunter Lipke, big physical runners that run with just a little more juice, I'm sorry to say, than Tony Pollard right now. So those are the guys you're going to give it to at the goal line. Even though Tony Pollard did score, he's only scored against the Giants this year. But I also said, on top of wanting to see more Brandin Cooks, I also wanted to see more Rico Dowdle. And you got to see more Rico Dowdle in this game too. 12 attempts, 79 yards, and that touchdown that I talked about. When he touches the ball, you just see that burst. You see juice. You also see angry running that Good Morning Football would talk about. And I hate to say it, but Rico Dowdle coming in looks like what Tony Pollard used to look like when he would come in and spell Zeke, when we were like, give this dude more touches. So give the dude more touches. I'm not saying take Tony Pollard out of the equation. He had 15 rushes, 55 yards, under 4 yards an attempt. It's struggling there with Tony Pollard up the middle. It does not seem to be getting going. He does not seem fully right off that injury. So we need to see more Rico Dowdle just to see what he can do, to add more juice, to add more pop. But I loved what I saw out of the offense in terms of spreading it around, right? We talked about Brandin Cooks already, 12 catches. We talked about CeeDee Lamb, 11 catches. Now, I have to have a little apology to Michael Gallup because I not only said I wanted more Brandin Cooks, I said I wanted less Michael Gallup. Now, we did have less Michael Gallup, but it was almost less with more, right? 2 catches, 70 yards, and a touchdown. A bomb of a 41-yard touchdown. Those are the type of things we need to see from Michael Gallup, stretching the field. Still involved, but more of that number 3, number 4 type wide receiver. We did see Jalen Tolbert out there a lot more than I've seen in recent weeks or any time really. But he only had 2 receptions for 2 yards. So he was out there more, but didn't have the impact. Where Michael Gallup almost had that "don't forget about me, I'm still here" impact with just 2 catches. But I loved seeing Jake Ferguson, not a huge game, 4 catches, 26 yards, but still a chain mover. And how about Jalen Brooks getting involved? First time active this season, 4 catches, 39 yards. I know a lot of it was towards the end of the game, but hey, he got involved, got his first catch. A big bodied receiver without Tolbert involved in this game or active. I was very happy to see what what Jalen Brooks was able to give, and the defense. I mean, they held Tony DeVito to 86 yards passing. The poor dude was under duress all game. 14 of 27 for 86 yards, like I said. And there was no running lanes that much, right? Saquon Barkley, 13 for 66. Tommy DeVito did have 7 for 41 on some scrambles, but, I mean, they scored 17 points, most of it out on the back end of the game. So the defense did what the defense needed to do. Our guy, Deron Bland, another interception. They held court at home, got it done against a bad New York Giants team. They did what they needed to do. They got it done. They put the game together. Now they move on to another bad team in Carolina, and then they take on the Washington Commanders on Thanksgiving, which is not a gimme game because, one, they don't play great on Thanksgiving, and two, it's a division rival who you haven't seen yet this season against Washington, who a lot of the times gives you a hard time. And then it gets into the gauntlet. Seattle, Philly, and beyond, with the likes of Miami, Detroit, with playoff implications on the line, sitting now at 6-3. I promised you 10 minutes. It was a little bit more than 10 minutes. I have a screaming baby. If you can't hear it on this beautiful mic, you probably can't, but I can hear it above me for some reason. She doesn't want to go to sleep. So I need to sign off, and I will give you more on our long-term episode with Aiden Powers this week, but enjoy the win. It's Victory Monday. Heading into another work week. You can wear your Dallas Cowboys gear loud and proud this week. Cowboys win 49-17 at home against the Giants, and they move on to Carolina. Again, make sure you watch and subscribe right here on YouTube to Birds vs. Boys. Listen to us anywhere you listen to your podcasts, and follow us at social media at Birds vs. Boys Pod, Twitter, Instagram, and absolutely TikTok. Kmess here. Thank you for watching. Shoot in the comments what your favorite part of this Dallas Cowboys win was.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds vs. Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things.
I got 2 phones.
Upset alert. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there.
There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope. I'm going to drink bleach.
That it? Be the team you promised me you were going to be this year!
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.